In the news tonight, 9 people are killed and 19 injured in the collision of a minibus and a truck on the desert road to Aqaba. The Prime Minister urges more technical and financial aid by the World Bank to the kingdom's administrative reform plans. And Iraqi forces seize at least 2 more districts in the battle for Mosul. Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. At least 9 people were killed and 19 others injured when a trailer truck plowed into a minibus near Qatrane on the desert highway to Aqaba. The Civil Defense Department said its crews rushed to the scene, administered first aid to the injured and evacuated them along with the dead to nearby hospitals. The injured were listed in a serious to moderate condition. Health Minister Mahmoud Shayab visited the injured at the Karak Government Hospital and Prince Ali Military Hospital. He commended the efforts of the civil defense and security bodies as well as the response of medical teams and cooperation between public hospitals and the Royal Medical Services. Prime Minister Hani Molki said the government looks for more World Bank technical and financial aid to the government's administrative reform plans and human resources and education development. Molki said as he welcomed a World Bank delegation led by Vice President for the Middle East and North Africa, Hafiz Ghanem, that the government attached great importance to public sector reform, good governance and automation of the government apparatus towards deregulation and getting rid of the debilitating red tape. The Prime Minister told the World Bank team his government is also seeking to cement the partnership with the private sector to launch strategic projects. The World Bank officials stressed the international lending institution's partnership with Jordan and in implementing development and modernization programs. Jordan rejected the initial approval by Israel's parliament of a bill banning azan to the call to prayer for mosque loudspeaker in Israel and occupied East Jerusalem. The bill to muffle azan, sponsored by right-wing parties, won preliminary approval yesterday at the Knesset in a charged session where Arab legislators denounced the measure as racist. State Minister for Media Affairs Mahmoud Momeni called the move discriminatory and a breach of Israel's commitments under international law and the Jordan-Israel Peace Treaty. Momeni said all international laws, including the humanitarian law, stipulate that the Jerusalem Waqf is the only authority that has administrative control over the mosque in occupied East Jerusalem, namely Al-Aqsa Mosque, Haram al-Sharif. Momeni also said the peace treaty clearly underlines Israel's respect to Jordan's custodianship over the holy Islamic sites in Jerusalem. Jordan condemned deadly bomb attacks at a wedding party near the northern Iraqi city of Tikrit and a hospital in the Afghan capital Kabul. State Minister for Media Affairs Mohammed Momeni said terrorist gangs are seeking to wreak chaos and destabilize countries. He said Jordan stood by Iraq in all circumstances to counter the criminal terror gangs. The suicide attack on the wedding in the village of Hajjaj near the Tikrit left 23 people dead. There was no claim of responsibility, but the bombing bore the hallmarks of Daesh terror group, which is slowly being driven out of its Iraqi stronghold of Mosul. Women wept on the porch of the house where the wedding was held, while men milled around broken plastic chairs scattered on the blood-stained ground. As Iraqi forces advance deeper into West Mosul, they are facing increasingly stiff resistance from Daesh militants using suicide car bombs and snipers to defend their last stronghold in Iraq. According to military sources, counter-terrorism forces recaptured the Muallim and Silo districts. Inside the city, they are fighting alongside the federal police and the elite Interior Ministry Rapid Response Force, which earlier this week recaptured the provincial government headquarters and the Mosul Museum. A federal police colonel said there were skirmishes close to the museum where the militants filmed themselves destroying priceless statues and sculptures in 2015. Iraqi forces aim to dislodge Daesh from West Mosul within a month. despite grueling urban combat in densely populated terrain. Civilians are fleeing in greater numbers as the fighting approaches the densely populated old city, causing alarm that the camps for displaced people are nearly full. The total number of people displaced from Mosul since the campaign started has climbed to more than 215,000 according to United Nations estimates. US-backed Syrian forces said they were closing in on Daesh-held Raqqa and expected to reach the city outskirts in a few weeks. Some 500 US personnel are already in Syria to help the fight against Daesh, and an additional 400-strong deployment comprised both Marines and Army Rangers. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said coalition airstrikes killed 23 civilians, including 8 children, in the countryside north of Raqqa. Her Majesty Queen Rania received the Global Trailblazer Award at the 16th Annual Vital Voices Global Leadership Award ceremony. During the ceremony held in Washington, D.C., Her Majesty stressed the need to recognize the potential of Arab women. Queen Rania referred to the plight of women in areas of conflicts and instability across the Middle East, mainly Iraq, Yemen and Syria. Her Majesty underscored the pivotal role education plays in extracting these women from their grim realities by providing them with the knowledge they need to excel. She condemned the extremists who commit crimes in the name of Islam, reiterating His Majesty King Abdullah's depiction of their ideology as fake Islam.
I am convinced that education is our best hope for lifting the darkness. Education to combat those who destroy and invest in those who can create. And education to equip girls and women with the knowledge they need to excel. Because everything we seek for our region's future, from economic growth to environmental sustainability, from innovation to entrepreneurship, depends on women being full participants, and increasingly, women being at the forefront. We're getting a glimpse of what that future could look like. I see it every day in Jordan, where women are CEOs, doctors, professors, judges, and more. And I also see the strength, ingenuity, and resilience of women who have lost everything. Imagine how much they could contribute in our region, for our region, if only they had the chance. Changing our reality is up to us. As Arabs, we must fight for our own future. And as for the extremist, fanatical outlaws who terrorize us all, their toxic, brutal ideology is what my husband, King Abdullah, has called fake Islam. A warped, perverted image of my faith that violates everything it stands for. If we let the terrorists turn the West against Islam, we are waging their battle for them. I raise this tonight because I believe standing together is more crucial than ever. Our world is fractured. Moderation is under siege. Too often, empathy is in short supply. But if we turn our backs on one another, we'll never see eye to eye.
Jordan and Italy signed a memorandum of understanding that includes an Italian €169 million aid program for Jordan for the years 2017 and 2019. Minister of Planning and International Cooperation Imad Fakhoury and Director General of the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation Pietro Sebastiani signed the memorandum, which comes in implementation of pledges made by Italy at the London Donor Conference held last year. Fakhoury said the agreement aims to boost bilateral cooperation between the two countries, contribute to achieving the goals of the 2016 and 2019 Executive Development Programme, as well as the Jordan response plan to the Syrian crisis. The minister announced the opening of an office for the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation in Amman, a move which would enhance relations.
The new MOU for the next 3 years will be providing, Italy is providing €19 million as grants, about €144 million of extremely concessionary financing, of which €85 million will go towards budget support and €59 million will go towards financing priority development projects as per the executive development program of the government. In addition, there'll be an extra 6 million euros to support humanitarian efforts in Jordan, to add resources to support the Jordan response plan for 2017 to 2019 in terms of dealing with the refugee Syrian crisis and its impact. And finally, Italy today will be reopening its development cooperation office to provide the necessary support under the new MOU to the new assistance program that have restarted in Jordan going forward.
Archaeologists from Egypt and Germany have found a statue of what could be the revered Pharaoh Ramses II in Cairo. The massive 8-meter statue was found submerged in groundwater in a slum near the ruins of Ramses II's temple in the ancient city of Heliopolis in the eastern part of modern-day Cairo. The discovery was hailed by the Antiquities Ministry as one of the most important ever. The most powerful and celebrated ruler of ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh, also known as Ramses the Great, was the third of the 19th dynasty of Egypt and ruled Egypt more than 3,000 years ago. The joint Egyptian-German expedition also found the upper part of a life-seized limestone statue of Pharaoh Seti II, Ramses II's grandson, that is 80 centimeters long. Experts will now attempt to extract the remaining pieces of both statues before restoring them. World number one Andy Murray may never have a better opportunity to win the ATP World Tour Masters 1000 BNP Paribas Open, which started today in Indian Wells. The Scot is in the top half of the draw, so would avoid until the later stages the likes of Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, Juan Martín del Potro, Nick Kyrgios and Alexander Zverev, who are all in the other section. After crashing out of the Australian Open early, Murray bounced back with victory in the Dubai Open last weekend, giving him optimism ahead of Indian Wells, a tournament he has never won. Russia and FIFA officials marked 100 days to the kickoff of the 2017 Confederation Cup. Football players and guests took part in celebrations at the St. Petersburg's Arena Stadium, where an emblem for the football tournament was unveiled. Former Brazilian football defender and FIFA Confederation Cup winner Cafu was there to display the trophy for the games, which kicks off on June 17th. Russia's bid for 2018 World Cup came under scrutiny in 2015 after an FBI investigation into bribery and corruption at FIFA. The country has denied any wrongdoing. And finally, a clear and relatively cold night in the hilly areas, Badia and the eastern plains, but slightly warm in the Jordan Valley and the Dead Sea, with moderate winds picking up at times. Tomorrow, a drop in temperature is expected, but it will remain pleasant in most regions and warmer in the valley and the Dead Sea. Later at night, clouds will appear gradually, bringing scattered showers accompanied by thunder and lightning in the central and southern regions. Winds will be light to brisk, raising dust in the southern and eastern regions. The Gulf of Aqaba should expect a pleasant night and warm day tomorrow with moderate winds and calm seas. Next are the lows and highs for tonight and tomorrow. And 10 the news, your top stories once again. 9 people are killed and 19 injured in the collision of a minibus and a truck on the desert road to Aqaba. The Prime Minister urges more technical and financial aid by the World Bank to the kingdom's administrative reform plans. And Iraqi forces seize at least 2 more districts in the battle for Mosul. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Leo Balkar. Have a lovely weekend.